for it.
Greetings. The tragedy of Macbeth does portray a variety of social concepts that transcend time and culture. These things give off a sense of enduring endearment that maintains its relevance to current peoples. One of the utmost musings through which my tale does provoke appreciation of eternal nature is through the cleaving of kingship and tyranny, with the intent to subdue boys who would find themselves despised upon the throne, and instead grant ascendance to men blessed with kingly graces. Such separation of monarchy portrays tyrants, a canvas on which bloody, luxurious, avaricious notions are portrayed by the brush-wielder Malcolm. In disagreement with his own, a king stands in stone, a sculpture of justice, humility, and truth. In illustration of the occurrence of the latter would bring Scotland her well-earned rest, alongside gifts in her aching troubles. As it stands, those who stand for king and country and lay down their lives are rewarded. As Cawdor to Macbeth. Alas, alas, for once that title was becoming of his loyalty, and thence became the title of his closely followed fall. A king, on the other hand, lays down his life for his country, relinquishes any hold he may have over his heart, and if necessary, rips it from between his ribs, should it allay even a hint of danger from the servant souls of Scotland. In remembrance of a prior mention of Macbeth, a tyrant brings the ground up to the knees. That servant of Beelzebub crippled the land which I call my home, my kingdom, nay, my birthdom. For under the sole of Macbeth's accursed foot, that country failed to submit to any king. Macbeth cared only for himself, leaving Scotland to suffer under heavenly storms. Under such absolution, no justice is given out, only capricious whispers of death, handed down in the hopes of beating the nail further in to create the perception of a firmer throne. As such, a sovereign rift between these officers must be created, and stayed in a lack of prattle to dissuade those of a similar failing. Advancing such consuming thoughts, the tragedy of Macbeth does portray the depravity of severing the soul and body of another's existence with reference to any aftermath or motive involved. Macbeth set out by rending Duncan's chest from nipple to middle, defying the Lord's anointed temple, and sending sleep itself to stony bed. Shook loose of their own spirits by the same ill-fated hand, his chamberlains were in quick succession slain, no doubt to cast illusion over the onlooking eyes as to the perpetrator of this traitorous conduct. This traitor's bloody murder does put suspicion of Banquo's own failing upon Macbeth, in confirmation of Fleance, who did find way to England. Indeed, a little further on, my own pretty ones, with finality alongside their mother. But let that be seen to alone. This endless cycle of death and vengeance does elucidate itself to be undesirable of committing. And as such, this recounting of death mustn't die to preserve a sense of rotting flesh and current mentality to dissuade those of a similar failing. In conclusion, the depraved mental state required to set against an unarmed woman and relieve her of her children born is in Macbeth's case clear. Do not account for my previous brevity and lack of insensitive speech that I care not for my loved one's passing. For in truth, my ribs do feel the lack of warm blood, and my eyes sparkle nightly, for such things must be felt as a man, should they be truly unearthed. There is no suspicion upon Macbeth's decision. No doubt he knew of my exodus to England, and chose to steal my pretty chickens from me as a fox without a name. I rest knowing that he remains unnourished for that, for such acts have no remedial output and model further defeats. Out of God-forsaken hate and a headful of steam did he set against such unprepared foes. Ironically, my own anger in enlightenment of events proved that he was served a judgment of his own. Such ruination, however, is insufficient for the debts he owes. However, violence against women and babes is in conclusion with. Such acts are unacceptable and can only be removed through a wider knowledge of Macbeth's own removal. There, my case has been laid and my verdict set, regardless of your choosing. Be forewarned, however, that should your faith be foul not fair, you, every soul in this room is no better than Macbeth, and is deserving of the same fate.